Welcome to my bourbon journey. My name is Derek, and this episode we're going to talk about a Japanese whiskey. I know this is mostly a bourbon channel. Bourbon is really my favorite beverage, but I do enjoy some other ones. And this Japanese whiskey is one of them. So we're going to talk about what it actually means to be a Japanese whiskey versus a bourbon and other alcoholic beverages. And then we're going to review this one of my favorites actually. This is a shout out to Aiden, who recommended or requested that I review this one from last week's video, so we're going to do that. So what is Japanese whiskey? There's actually not a legal definition. In America, there are legal definitions for alcohols like bourbon, for example. A law that was passed by Congress. Legal definition. In Japan, there's not. And in fact, up until 2021, there was not a whole lot of definition around Japanese whiskey at all, except probably it came from Japan and probably it was made from grains. There were issues over the years of things that weren't even whiskeys as we know it being called Japanese whiskey. So in 2021, the Japanese Spirits and Liquor Association decided to come together to come up with what a definition of a Japanese whiskey is. So what did they say? They said a Japanese whiskey has to be from malted grains and only malted grains. It has to be, the water has to be sourced 100% from Japan. The alcohol has to be distilled in wood casks for at least 3 years, in casks that can't hold more than 700 liters. Which is a little bit of an odd requirement, but that's what they said. And it has to be bottled in Japan at 40% ABV or greater. And then the association also decided that they could use some light caramel coloring in limited quantities. Not a big fan of that one. I'd like to see what the natural color is, because that's a determining factor on what potentially it tastes like, and it's also part of the experience. So if you have an artificial color, you're not really sure what you're getting. So that's what they decided that Japanese whiskey would be. The problem there is that it's not a legal definition. It's a definition of the Japanese Spirits and Liquor Association that apparently a lot of, and all of the big distillers like Suntory Whiskey, which creates this that we'll talk about in a minute, adhere to, but it's not a law. It's not a requirement. It's something that the distilleries agreed on, and so that's what they're going to do. All right, so that's what Japanese whiskey is. So now let's get into this bottle. This is from the distiller Suntory Whiskey, one of the two biggest distillers and importers into America. The other one is called Nikka. You'll see both of these in your liquor stores. This one you'll see most of the time. You might be in an area where you don't see it all of the time. Right now, this is going for about $99. You can find it plus. Not too much minus, maybe a little bit minus. Let's call it, the lowest I've seen is $89.99. The highest I've seen is $120, so that'll be the range as of today. And this is their Hibiki Harmony. My opinion, one of the best readily available expressions from Suntory. So, all right, let's start pouring this thing. There we go. So let's take a look. The color is light. It's like an apple juice color, which is consistent with its flavor, with its aroma. It's delicate, it's floral, it's well balanced and like that. And so if I smell it, well, first of all, before I smell it, I just noticed that we got some nice legs on here. So it is viscous, even though the color may not imply that. So when I take a smell on it, I mean, this is definitely not a bourbon in a good way. So the smell is, I mean, right off the bat, and this is, I haven't seen anyone say this about this, but I get apple juice. So there is fruitiness in there. There's floral in there. Man, there is a nice oakiness to this, like in a good way. There's definitely, again, I'm going to go back to what I said a minute ago. It's balanced. So it does have that wood. It does have that fruit. It does have that fragrance. No surprise, this is a popular product. So with this one, I could almost smell it for an hour before I even drink it. It's in the nose on this is very enjoyable. Now let's take a taste of it. I'm not going to smell it for a half an hour because I want to get this episode out to you for sure. But this is something that you could slow roll this over with dinner. Almost, I mean, you could really pair this even with dessert, like as an after dinner. Again, it's floral, it's light, the fragrance is just tremendous. Okay, so the taste is outstanding, and it doesn't match all of the nose. There's some other things that aren't in the nose, like right out of the gate, I get caramel, I get some vanilla, not too sweet, just the right levels of sweet. I get the oak, so that's consistent between the nose and the taste is the oak. Let's see what else I get. Okay, so a little bit of nuttiness. I'm getting some dried fruit here, almost not candied fruit, but like just real dried fruit that you would get at the grocery store. Citrus, so it could be a pineapple dried fruit, it could be an apricot, something like that. Really, really nice. So overall, you've got your caramel, your vanilla, your fruits. The flavor, not a lot of floral in the flavor like we get on the nose. I get apple on the nose. I don't get that on the flavor. Really interesting. There's kind of levels to this. So levels on the fragrance, levels on the taste. Really enjoyable. Like I said, I mean, you could slow roll this one or two glasses over the course of an evening. It could really take you through. It could take you from dinner into dessert, even if you wanted to. I mean, that's not something I usually like to do, but this is a beverage that could do that. Very delicate, very evolved, super enjoyable. One last taste for the finish. Okay, so on the finish, I get a little bit of chocolate even. Again, medium bodied, and it's gone. So medium lasting. I get a little chocolate on there. I get a little smokiness on there, which is really nice. So a lot of things going on with this beverage. It kind of unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. It's really an enjoyable experience from start to finish, from the beautiful bottle. I mean, this is gorgeous bottle, to the nose, to the palate, to the mid palate, and then to the finish. At $99 plus or minus, if you're looking for something a little bit different than a bourbon, but still has that caramel, vanilla, even a little taste of chocolate there at the end, you like that sweetness, this adds a little bit of the floral. It adds a lot of citrus, in particular apple for me. So it's going to bring you some different things than you won't get on traditional straight bourbons, but still has some of the things that you like. That's why I like it. Again, I'm not a whiskey or a Japanese whiskey, I should say, guy in general. Although if it's like this, I might want to be. I'm mostly a bourbon person, but so this gives me a little of what I like and some interesting things. So if you're looking for something different to drink, and that's when I drink this. So I'll drink bourbons, rise. And then when I want something different, this is the answer all day long. If you're a bourbon drinker and you haven't at least tried it, I would say get yourself a glass somewhere. You'll probably like it, and it is probably something you can put on your shelf or something different. So I hope that helps you to understand a little bit about Japanese whiskey, in particular this bottle. Leave some comments below about two things. One is, have you tried it? Do you like it? Do you think you will try it? And the other one is, if you see anything I did in this video that I can do better, please leave me a comment down there because I'd like to improve. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.